is time for your weekly breakdown on the latest in entertainment, sports, pop culture, and all things Milwaukee. This is Nothing But the Truth with Melanie Ricks. Now streaming on 1017 The Truth YouTube with the witty banter, latest trends on social media, and hottest celebrity topics, here is Melanie Ricks.
Hey, okay, let's go. Okay, hey, let's go. Okay, hey, let's go. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Nothing But the Truth with Melanie Ricks. In stew with my girl at Rhea. Wait, Rhea, what is your social? Do you want to say your social?
Mine's actually private, but...
Wait, period to a private? No, yes to privacy.
I clown on there a little too much for the public to know.
I love it. At least you know that your level of clowning is not for public consumption.
Yeah, I can't even front. No.
I respect that. Well, shout out to at Rhea Riley, but she's private, so you can't follow her, baby. But you can follow her here.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, guys.
Aw. Hey, girl. It's our first official week together.
I know. I'm excited. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. We're definitely going to get into some tings. I feel like what better way to start off our tenure together than to talk about racism.
Jesus.
Let's just go right in right away.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
No, I think who better than my girl Rhea. And who would have thought that we would be talking about Love Island and racism in the same. But apparently people are problematic on that show. So maybe it's not so surprising.
No, not at all.
Dang, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, I don't watch Love Island. I just want to preface this conversation with that. But if you have a pulse, i.e. if you have a cell phone that you carry with you and you doom scroll through probably 5 times a day, you've probably seen the headline regarding Love Island's Cierra Ortega and her racial slur blunder. And essentially got her kicked off the show 1 week before the finale.
She was so close.
She was so close. Now, I'm going to be very honest. I don't fully understand Love Island. When I read the headline, I hurried up and did my Googles and my research, and I learned everything I could know about it. I know that they're in Fiji.
Which is so nice.
Beautiful. They're there for a few weeks. It's live. So it's like Big Brother, essentially. Like everything is being filmed live. I also found out that this show is NC-17, but my 15-year-old sister and her friends watch it. No. Did not know that it was inappropriate for children to consume, because I know when I was a kid, I was definitely watching all the random reality shows, but I didn't truly understand, like, nah, this is live, so like people be like doing the do.
Right.
And other things.
They were like, can we swear?
Yeah, we can swear.
Oh, I know they was fucking.
Girl.
Like, going in on it multiple times in a room with other people, which just threw me. I didn't know that.
First off, I love that Rhea asks, can we swear? And then uses like
the worst word.
The worst possible word. I'm gonna be honest with you. You probably won't ever hear me swear. No. Because my mom watches this. That's the only reason.
Sorry.
No. Don't be sorry. My mom has a sailor mouth and I have one too because of her. Just kidding, Mom. No, I don't. I've never sworn in my life. But I mean, you know, I feel like there's like the on-air persona and then there's who you are.
Yeah.
Mine's blend. And one thing I don't do is swear because I know my mom's going to watch. But girl, on what they be doing it.
They'd be doing the nasty.
So like, how quick do these videos, because if it's live, but then they're doing stuff like that, obviously there's there's like a 3-hour period, let's say, between when it happened and when it actually airs, right?
Yeah, I found out that it's every week. It's 6 days a week, which is insane. I didn't know that until
they said it's 5 days, but one day is a repeat.
Recap.
Yeah, recap.
Yeah,
thank you.
on Saturdays, I think.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know that. I was like, you guys are putting in some man hours right now.
So tonight is the only night besides Saturday that they don't have a live episode. But is Sunday like the grand finale?
Of the season, I'm guessing?
Of the season.
Probably. They said the last day was the 13th, so I think that's right. Yeah.
Yep, that's Sunday.
Wow.
Time flies. Not that I've been watching the show, but time flies since I found out that somebody was kicked off a few days ago.
Okay.
But essentially, these beautiful, gorgeous, I'm talking like some of the best looking humans you've ever seen, men and women are put together on this island, and they enter the house in different waves. Like, not everyone or villa, sorry, I'm going to say villa because that's what they call it. Not everyone who's in the villa right now was there when it originally started, but this fan favorite, Cierra Ortega, she had to exit the villa unexpectedly because some past comments from her social media made headlines. And I guess it's because a lot of like fans and internet sleuths did their digging, because what I also didn't know, and again, I'm learning everything in real time, they don't have their phones, they don't have access to social media, they have handlers who run their accounts, who are typically like friends.
Or parents.
Her friend denounced their friendship because of this.
I saw that.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Her childhood pal, or just maybe old pal, I don't know. But this girl, apparently she was running the social media page so well that she went viral and was in Cosmo. And then all of a sudden, because all this came out, she said, yeah, I'm not friends with her anymore. Like, dang, so you wanted to be famous for running her page, but now...
You just left her out to dry.
On what?
Come back to nothing.
And they denounced it in a way where, like, apparently that was part of what stoked the flame of, like, or the fire of fans coming at her.
Oh, really?
And her parents said, like, she's been getting death threats because apparently she didn't know about all the fanfare that was happening. And her parents had to put out a statement like, hey, like, Cierra, she's human just like us. She has to learn just like everybody else. And essentially, what happened was fans found an old social media post. The reason that the show was giving for her departure, her personal situation, quote unquote, is what they called it. Apparently, offline viewers were able to find a post in which she took a picture. There were screenshots of Instagram posts that resurfaced that showed her using the word chink. And that is a racial slur used against people of Chinese and East Asian descent. The usage was ugly, as they called it, when it happened, because they said that she was using it in a negative connotation type way. And apparently it's only gotten worse because now this word has re-entered our lexicon. Because I was telling Rhea, we talked about this, before getting on air. I've never used that word, genuinely never used that word.
Right.
In looking at that word, definitely understand that the way that she used it, I definitely get why it's considered a racial slur. But if I would have just been scrolling through social media and I saw that, I don't know if that would have jumped out to me as like, no, this is seriously problematic. We need to use this to educate. Because I've never personally used that particular word, but I am curious what y'all think about it, learning that this woman of Hispanic descent, she was removed from the villa a week before the season finale of Love Island, which has been a wildly popular show, primarily with Gen Z, they've been saying, and I can confirm that because my 15-year-old sister watches it, and I know she watches it because I dropped her off at a Love Island watch party at her girlfriend's house, and her mom, who, I'm not going to lie, reminded me of the mom from Mean Girls. She basically invited me in to come watch with them. And I'm like, I don't watch this show. Do you watch with your daughter? Like,
what is this?
Girl. But the outcry that has happened because of this social media post, it also comes in light of another contestant who was removed from the show because of her use of the N-word on a podcast. And apparently... this girl was using it like night and day and night, left and right, up and down. They said she was using it like, I don't even know what other word to compare it to, the way that some people use the word God. Like, they said that she was using it like it was a very normal part of her vocabulary. And so because these two back-to-back things happen, definitely understand why they had to take action. How do you feel, though, Rhea? And those of you who are watching, let us know in the comments. How do you feel about these contestants being removed because of their past remarks? Especially the Cierra one. I definitely understand the N-word one, maybe because I'm Black. I'm not Asian, so maybe I know I don't fully understand it from that perspective. The N-word, I automatically am like, absolutely not today, Satan, you're out.
Yeah.
The C-word, again, I don't use it myself. I would never use that word as a derogatory way of, describing myself or others. So I don't know if I would have seen it quite the same as I would the N-word. But again, I'm not Asian, so I can't speak to that. But Rhea, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on these two contestants, namely Cierra Ortega and her exit?
I think they both need to leave. I mean, you can't do one way and one not the other. So I get why she had to get kicked out. But from like my little investigation research, I think it was also because she kind of hit a turn with her fans like on the show. I think between her and some relationship she had on there, and they just stopped liking her, and this was just like a dog pile to get her out of the house. On top of, and then like you have to, if you're gonna do it to one person, you have to do it to the other person. So I think producers just like, we have to kick her out now.
And fans have a lot to say as far as who stays, who goes. They vote, right? Yeah, they vote every week, which is so interesting because I read she was a fan favorite, but you said she was starting to not become the, or not be. Okay.
Like a mean girl thing that happened. Okay. And she was one of the 3 people who just like didn't have each other's backs on the show, I guess. And
we gotta have these teams and stuff.
I know. So after that, they're like, you gotta kick rocks, girl.
Okay. Yeah. And then they found all this and they made
dug all that up and then aired her all the way out. And now she is kicked off and back at home, which I kind of feel, I say bad loosely, but like, and maybe we'll get to this about our social medias and stuff as well. But like, people make mistakes all the time.
Totally.
I think for me now, I'm just kind of waiting for how she comes out of this and what she has to say about it. Like her family's response was not bad, but also I should say she also was very PR trained, and that's what I heard through the grapevine. Like
she was a content creator. Yeah. But she's only 25. She's young.
Wow.
They said that she used and this is what gets me, Rhea, and like you said, we'll get into our own personal social media. They said she used the word to describe her smile in a January 2015 social media post. So she's 25. So she was 15. She was a minor when she used this. But I think part of the issue is she used the same slur again in February of 2023. So that was only 2 years ago.
Yeah, didn't learn nothing.
She didn't learn anything. And she used it to describe her smile while getting Botox. So, I mean, I guess it is inexcusable when you're using it not only as a child, but also as an adult. Like, there are definitely problematic things I said as a kid. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I don't think I said anything racist ever as a kid, which, by the way, they say black people can't be racist.
That's a lie.
I think anybody can be racist.
Yes.
So we're not going to go there. We can go there a different day if y'all want, just not today. But my friends and I used to say inappropriate stuff all the time on social media.
Yeah.
Because we didn't understand like how permanent it was. And back then, like we weren't using social media the way we do now, obviously. Like there weren't content creators. There weren't, like the people who were famous on social media were already famous. They were celebrities. You weren't social media famous.
Right.
And then when that started happening, it still wasn't what it is now.
Right.
What do you think that they made the right decision, I guess?
Absolutely.
They did.
Yeah. Get her out of there. Actually, I like Nicolandria, so.
Who is that?
It's like the guy she was hunching with, is that the kids say?
What is a hunchin'?
I think it's just having sex.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh well. I guess like like a dog's throwing up. That kind of like
okay. Yeah.
That's what you look like when you're boning down. Anyway, so the guy she was with,
oh my God.
Everyone's like trying to trip her with this other like beautiful dark-skinned black woman. She is so beautiful. And I think that was also part of her like demise. Like, we don't want her with him. And like they kept hooking up in the room. Like they were like, we don't want Cierra with him. He doesn't seem like she's went into her. Got her off the show. Now they're like linked up. If you look up Nicolandria, like even the Steph Curry, the Warriors, like several like NFL, NBA teams are like referencing it in their social media posts. Meg the Stallion's like
wait, referencing what?
Nicolandria.
Who is Nickel? His name is Nickel?
His name is Nick, and her name is Alandria.
Oh, is this a ship
like a
name?
ship thing. Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, who is Nicolandria?
Yeah. Well, what?
Yeah.
And that's
Nick Alandria.
Yeah, and then Nick was with Cierra. Yeah. So it was like a snowball of bad things for Cierra.
Totally.
Yeah.
That poor girl then, because that sucks. Like her not having her phone, they said she lost reportedly over 200,000 followers within 48 hours, but she don't know. She don't even know how many followers she had.
You know, that plan, like, dang.
I wonder though, at this point, she's got to be home, right? I
think so. Someone said they saw it on the airport or the airplane.
Oh my gosh. Well, they said she was like receiving death threats and stuff. Now, that's when I think it goes too far, because like she needs to learn from this, obviously. Like the universe brought this into her life for a reason, but she's so young. I do feel bad for her in the sense of like, she's just young.
Yeah.
Like you have to learn, but what a way to learn, right? I mean, and what a way for other people to learn. Like Rhea and I were talking about how much trouble would we get in if like our old social media posts came up? Because again, I have never been malintended. I've never been a mean girl. Like I feel like the things my friends and I used to do or say on social media was more like, inappropriate, like that's what she said, or like dong jokes, like things that were like so silly. But like now I would be like so mortified if people knew that I used to talk like that.
Yeah.
Because we were silly, we were kids. But like at what point can you go from like, I don't know, being a silly kid to, nah, you should have known better. You should have cleaned your social media. Like, is this a sign that we all need to go back on our social medias and literally like scrub it clean?
Do you have like the flashback Thursdays or whatever it is that show you like the time lapse of what you said like 15 years ago?
On Facebook?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jump scare. Immediately jump scare.
Horrible.
I'm like, Jesus, what was wrong?
Because remember back then, you used to post like a bunch of albums. All my album captions, girl, I used to caption every picture. Every picture.
Oh my.
I know. I actually have one picture, and it's not posted anymore, I don't think, but it was of myself and my best friend who is half Asian. And the caption I remember said, Chelsea looks Asian. But like, what if, but she's Asian. I don't know. But you know what? She's half. So sometimes she looks white. Sometimes she looks Asian.
You're trying to advocate a little bit.
So I was like, yeah, she looks Asian. But like, what if somebody read that and they were like,
girl, what?
What? And again, it's nothing like mal. It's literally me just being like, yeah, she looks Asian today. Oh, look at her. She's so cute. But like, that's the kind of stuff that you say when you're young and you're dumb and you're not thinking like, oh, this kind of sounds bad. Like, what if she said in the picture, Mel looks black? Right.
It hits different.
It hits different. But just because, well, let's be honest, Asian Americans are extremely discriminated against worldwide, especially here in the U.S.
1000%.
But I think because the overarching, when you think of racism here in the States, you think of against blacks. I think that a lot of the racism or discrimination that you may see or hear targeted against other racial groups, I think it goes a little bit more underneath the rug because people are like, no, that's not as bad as the N-word, or that's not as bad as slavery, or that's not as bad as the KKK. You know what I mean?
The comparison's there, but it's still just as bad.
It's just as bad. If it's something that's harmful to a group of peoples, it's just as bad. So yeah, I think that, you know, it's definitely a warning to others, but also it's a way of being educated. I don't love the vitriol. I don't love like the people coming for her and the hate groups and all of that. Like she's a human and she's only 25. That frontal lobe just finished gluing together.
But I will say, she said it back in like 2023.
No, for sure. That I can't excuse.
Right, fresh off of 2020. You should.
Do you think she knew the word change? Because I'm being serious, Rhea. I have not heard that word probably since the 90s. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm being serious. Okay, she should have known, huh?
She should have known.
She should have known. Because even when I read it, I was like, ooh,
like, I don't know,
don't
girl.
say that. And why say it like that?
Right.
Like, what's another way to say your eyes are... What was she even trying to say? That her eyes were closed? Like honestly, what was she trying to say?
Just like they're too... I don't know, because I want to be offensive too. But
no, I know, but too narrow. Like, what is she trying to say? It looks like I'm squinting. Like, what's a better way to put that?
But you could have just said, I want my eyes to pop more.
Glass half full.
Yeah.
But like, really though, like why go for the negative? Because when you're looking at a facial feature or whatever feature and you're thinking negative, that's when you can get yourself in trouble. Because why are you tying other racial tropes or things into it?
And what's wrong with that?
And what's wrong with that?
Right.
If your eyes look C-word, is that a bad thing? And I think that's what people had a problem with. It's like, oh, so you're saying it's bad to look Asian.
Right.
And I totally get that. I 100% understand that. Whereas, I mean, no, I don't have anything to defend it. I don't. It's indefensible. It is. No, because like the more I marinate, because I've been thinking about it ever since it broke. But I've been trying to justify like, okay, where was she coming from? Because I would never say something like that, but I'm a part of a targeted racial group. Right. I'm black.
Right. We already know. We know the pain of that.
Exactly.
We live it every day.
Exactly. Which is why they say blacks can be racist. But again, you know, anyway, but that being said, I try so hard to give people the benefit of the doubt because I genuinely do not consider myself to be someone who would ever try to harm someone intentionally, make racial remarks. But it's like, what are we doing as a society where we see something negative and we immediately attach it to something else or someone else?
To bring someone else down at that too.
You know what I mean?
Just like, there's some hate in your heart that you got to work with there, especially when it comes to doing a facial adjustment or something.
Botox.
Yeah.
She was getting Botox.
Like you're trying to get away from what you already look like,
right?
And you're gonna change something else,
right?
Along the process.
Like, dang. So you knocking yourself and a whole group of people.
Everybody getting it.
Girl, what? Strays coming from all over the place. Like, for real.
Seriously.
And she's not white. So I feel like anyone who's non-white,
like,
really, girl, like, we know if anyone knows. But then Rhea, us talking like this, that's where I was trying to find, like, is there a line where we can defend this because maybe she was ignorant?
No.
But no, because she just did it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
If it was only from when she was a kid, sure, we can not defend it, but we can say
make sense of it.
We can make sense of it.
Dumb things when we're little.
All of us.
Clearly, if you find me on Instagram or like my old social media, you'd be like, wow.
But Rhea's smart. She's private.
I am private now. I learned the hard way.
Okay, period.
Yeah.
But it's like, what happens if that picture comes up? Like, for real. I mean, really, at what point do we have to give each other, or do, like, maybe not we, but maybe like do our, I don't know, employers have to give us a little bit of grace, because we are growing up with the social media age. Yeah. Gen Z was born into it. You're on the cusp, right?
On the cusp,
You're literally.
Yeah.
And I'm a millennial, so like I literally remember social media being birthed. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I remember MySpace. I was in 8th grade and I snuck on there. My mom did not let me have one, but I had one anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so inappropriate. But like I remember the world pre-social media. I remember what it was like, don't use your last name, to now what it is. And we could have never imagined it being that. Never. But that said, Rhea, do we have an excuse, us millennials / like elder Gen Zers, because we didn't know what this would become? Like in 2015, she didn't know.
Yeah. There's two things. One, I would say anyone that's above the age of 30, we get like a little bit of a grace period, because we're growing up with social media. So like me, I think I was at the cusp, 1995. So like,
and I'm 91.
Yeah. So yeah, growing along with social media. But then there's another thing of saying something racist on there. If you go back and look at my social media, it's just me doing dumb kid stuff.
Exactly.
Just being ignorant and stupid and immature. But also we didn't know that they're going to have this much of a weight when it comes to our social media posts. But now it's different from me doing a middle finger or saying something like really like inappropriate for a 15, 16, 17-year-old versus saying something offensive to a different group of people.
Right.
You know, and I'm sure if I dug really deep in there might be something, one or two things were like, well, that's pretty tasteless. That's not really great. But that never
Can you apologize for it now and it's okay? Because what if you don't even remember that? Because with her, again, there's no excuse. She said it. If that was the only time, maybe she forgot. It was 10 years ago, but this girl said it again. Like, this word, you be using this word.
Is in you.
It's in you.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like, let's say somebody dug up something you said or a picture you posted, whatever. Do we apologize and, you know, because we took accountability? Can we move on from that? Like, or are we forever like marred with that? Like, now I know that's what you used to be like, or you used to post that. Like, for real, where do we draw the line? Because I think everybody has something from their past that they wouldn't want the public to consume and ridicule them for. Everyone, every single person on this earth has something.
Right. I would say, like, for me, I'm not going to be on TV. I strive to be on reality TV. So if you find something that's like back in my day, again, it's in that grace period of we were all growing up with social media.
Right.
So all the things that are foolish for me on my social media are prior to me going to college.
Right. That's true.
In this future now, if I'm applying for a job, I'm like, okay, well, why are you digging so hard? This is not on my resume. I don't know what you're looking for. But also, I know I have nothing to hide that's drastic.
Right.
But I'm also not trying to put myself promote myself to be a national, if not international, presence or public figure.
Yeah.
I think that would be my only caveat to that, is that I'm not trying to be outside like that.
To your point, you apply to be on a reality show, you better make sure.
Clean,
Scrub girl. Scrub that.
And that's the thing. She should have known that because she's a content creator.
Totally.
So you should be monitoring everything, especially if you're going to scrub and be that PR on the show.
Totally.
You should have known better beforehand.
Nah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, it does make me want to go back and make sure my social media is cleaned up. Because, yeah, like if everybody had home videos or whatever you want to, I mean, yeah, I guess home video is probably the best term, or old love letters or something. I'm trying to think of like stuff from the olden days that we could use, you know, that would be comparable. But regardless, if there was some piece of evidence of the BS-ery that you were on pre-age 25, because I usually try to give people who are 24 and under little bit of grace. Yeah. I know they say the frontal lobe thing, and it's not a myth, it is the truth, but everyone's frontal lobe forms at different times, different rates. And we're all just different humans. Like, I'm always trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. And that's why I tried to defend this. But the more I looked into it and the more I really thought about that word,
the 2023 of it all is really just
I agree.
not helping her out.
No, I agree. And again, Rhea, why are you trying to describe something negative about yourself by making it a negative about another culture?
Exactly.
Like, that's the true issue of it all. It's one thing for you to use that, but why do you say it like that? Like, she's saying, I have to get Botox because my eyes look like blank.
Yeah.
And blank is also a reference to this group of people.
Right.
Like, how dare you?
I kind of wish they would have had like I don't know the whole cast, but I wish they kind of had like an Asian representing woman. On
They don't?
I don't think they do.
Dang, that's too bad.
I would love to have like that moment of like, what you got to say.
No, for real.
You know?
I want to know. Well, and that's the thing. We can speak somewhat from that perspective, but we're not Asian.
Yeah.
So there's only so much that we can give. But obviously, us being black, I mean, we're discriminated against. We're microaggressioned against on the daily.
Yeah, and not to pivot too hard, but like the C word was used by my Asian friends when I was younger. So
good
like,
point.
I was around them when I was younger and they were using it.
So if you were using it, would it have been okay in your opinion? Because your friends used it?
And I would say, yes, I have used it around them describing something, but I think they made it safe for me to say, but also wasn't used to be mean or negative to them.
Right.
So it was almost like I was in a safe space to say it, but not saying it. I was never saying it to be malicious to anyone. And nor did I ever use it to reference myself or someone's like looks in that way.
Yeah.
Because we're just like.
But what if she could say the exact same? What if she was sitting next to her Asian best friend while writing that same caption? But it's like, we don't know that.
You better call her and get her to get online.
Girl, what?
Just say something, help you out.
Something, help me out.
You losing that money.
Girl, what? And that's going to follow her forever. But, Rhea, we know how this works. A lot of reality TV people are some of the worst scum of the earth. Sorry, it's true. And they make a lot of money from it. Being a villain pays. I think she'll be fine, too.
She's cute.
She is. She's beautiful. But if she's got an ugly core, then that changes everything. However, I don't believe that's what this says, personally. I think she made a really dumb mistake. I think that, I'm not saying she comes from a place of privilege, because I don't think you have to be privileged to be racist, but she definitely comes from a place of ignorance, perhaps, and just didn't do her due diligence on her own social media. And you have to.
And it says she's from Chicago. I hope I have that correctly. But I'm like, I know there's a gigantic Hmong population in Wisconsin.
I mean, everywhere.
So like,
everywhere, though. You know what I mean? And you don't even have to be around. I know what you're saying. But you don't even have to be around that culture to know this isn't right.
Right.
But you know what? Real quick, before we do pivot, it reminds me of the F word in the gay community.
I think they just reclaimed it, though.
But, like, I've been told by my gays, you can say that word with me, but if you, and I, for the record, I don't use that word.
Right.
It rhymes with maggot, which I don't even like that I said that because it implies, regardless, that's what it rhymes. It rhymes with Bob Saget. Thank you, Rhea. That's why Rhea's here. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but like my gay friends have told me, like, yeah, you can use it with us because we call each other that. But if you use it against someone else, it's derogatory.
Right.
Like, make it make sense.
But I think we still have that bad background where, like, I'm not calling anyone the N-word in a mean way. I'm not saying it to them in that group.
Right.
Same with the C-word. I'm like, this is not meant for me to say.
That's a good point. The N-word is a good point because people use it both ways.
Right.
You're right.
I've never said that to someone in a hateful way.
What, the C word?
The N-word.
The N-word?
Yeah. I've never used it in a way against my people.
Oh, no.
In like a negative way.
No. But have you ever used it like, oh, that person? You know what I mean? But like, but not in like you calling them like a scum or you calling him like a piece of blank. It's just you're using it as person.
Right.
But
and never with a hard ER. That's insane.
Girl, I'm sorry, what? Wait, so you mean you don't, who is it? Who has I think Steve Kerr, the coach of the Golden State Warriors, his sons, Rhea, don't make me laugh telling you this. His sons, so his name is Steve Kerr, and his son's first name is Nick, and I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So
someone didn't think twice.
You know what I mean? Nicholas, though. We'll call him Nicholas Kerr.
Sure.
You said sure. That also rhymes with Kerr.
Would have been better.
You know what I mean? Better. Sorry, let me stop.
Good Lord.
Bars. But speaking of, because we were talking about our own private social medias, it got me thinking about just like global media in general. And funnily enough, I don't know if they pushed this headline because of what's going on with Love Island, However, I saw not long after the Love Island of it all that Rush Hour did something that I've actually seen Disney movies specifically do this, not in the same regard, of course, but I've seen Disney movies where they start to put a disclaimer in front of their movies, basically explaining like, listen, this movie was made in 1928, so a lot of what you see, we don't agree with anymore. Rhea, I'm sorry, let me not. See, Rhea makes me laugh, and I can't look at her sometimes. Rush Hour, it now features, which this is the transition I should have made. Speaking of Asian people.
Mel.
But it's true.
You're right.
It's true. Speaking of people making derogatory remarks against Asian and Black people.
Yep.
There it is. And it really is a perfect, I'm half joking, but I'm actually very serious. Rush Hour now features a content warning before the opening credits. It reads, quote, "We all love our 90s buddy comedies, but this movie was created in a different time. FYI, certain depictions, language, and humor may seem outdated and at times offensive." Now, before I get your opinion on that, comments are saying Gen Z is hands down the softest generation ever. Y'all so sensitive. Oh, but y'all don't warn us when the zesty-ish pops up. And then, another person said, yeah, we're definitely cooked as a nation. So I thought those were super interesting and very fair points. But Rhea, when you watch an old classic movie like that, and you see that type of disclaimer, what do you think, and do you agree with it?
I think I agree. Okay, I should also say this. I didn't mention this to you before. Gone with the Wind has always been one of my favorite movies.
And it is so problematic.
It is so problematic.
And the first Black person ever won an Oscar came from that movie.
Yep, so there's one win.
But it's still very problematic, but it is a great win. You're right.
Yeah,
but they didn't even let her sit at the same table. She sat at the back of the hall. Like, they didn't even want her to be in. Do you know that Clark Gable, fun fact, he almost didn't do the movie because the set was segregated. And he said, you have to desegregate this set, otherwise I'm not doing this movie. And because of that, they desegregated it. But anyway, sorry. I love fun facts. IMDb. But anyway.
No, but for real, I think like movies like that, you need a disclaimer. But I think now with movies like Rush Hour, you definitely need one, especially when we're taking so much more education away from these issues.
Oh my gosh. Yes. That's a great point. If you're not going to educate them, then I guess the movies have to.
Yeah.
I mean, really though, because a lot of these, which is ironic, Rhea, you bring up such a great point, but I still feel like we didn't even get the proper education. Like whoever like honestly was told the real, unless you were homeschooled by a real one. Like for real, like everything not everything, 80% of what I was taught, I learned was not the truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? As far as history goes. So like, it's ironic and very spot on what you're saying, but I feel like we never were taught true history. So anyway, sorry.
And we're learning it more now. And I think post 2020, we've had to have those moments of like, okay, we're learning it from different people on social media about this background or their background or this person's background, this minority's background. And the more we are aware of what's going on that was not taught to us, the more we need to be cognizant of that. I think these disclaimers kind of open the door to like, oh, I didn't know what's the problem with this movie. Let me go research it now and educate myself so I treat the people around me and my community better.
So like I look at what do they call it? Buddy cop film, whatever it is. 90s buddy comedies. Girl, if we gonna disclaim Rush Hour, we gotta put it on every movie.
All of them.
All of them. Like, I beg you, I'm serious. If you know one movie from before 2020 that was, even before 2025, that is not problematic in some way, like, let me know. I can't think of a single one, except for maybe like a Disney Channel original movie. Shout out to DComs. But like literally, even Disney movies, horrible. So sus. Not even just sus. Horrible. Yeah. Like, I was watching Pinocchio.
Oh, that's the worst one, Mel.
And it's scary.
Yeah.
Pinocchio's a scary movie. Like, watching it, I'm like, I don't know if I can watch this. It's
Why
scary.
would you watch that movie?
I won't anymore. I won't. I had a Disney adult phase where, like, I watched all my favorite childhood movies.
Yeah.
Regretted it. I'll never watch them again. I'll never view them the same again. Yeah. But, like, even movies like Toy Story. Like, Toy Story is a great movie to this day. Top 10, no question. But like, there are always little things, whether it's a racial thing, it's a sexist thing, it's a classism thing. Like, there's always something. So do we have to put disclaimers in front of everything?
Yeah, kind of.
But what's the disclaimer? Hey, this was made in 1962. So just know we don't mean it, but we're making money from it. So enjoy. Like,
yeah.
I mean, really though, like, what do you say? Like, do you think? Because I actually like how casual this disclaimer is. We love our buddy comedies. The movie was created at a different time. Certain depictions, language, and humor may seem outdated and at times offensive. I like that. It's simple, clean. But people are mad and they're blaming Gen Z. Is Gen Z to blame? Like, do you think this generation is too soft and complaining? Like, who is it that's even getting it to this point where you're needing a disclaimer for a movie that was made in 1995?
First of all, for pointing fingers at people, it should be our generation and if
Millennials.
not older. Yeah, because we're the ones that created the movies and then paid the money to go see them.
Shoot, no, Gen X created those movies.
Yeah.
We were kids when Rush Hour came out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, my mom, your parents made that movie.
Yeah.
We didn't make that movie.
Yeah.
And back then, Asian jokes, black jokes. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? No wonder people would, people
Saying anything out here.
anything.
To your face.
Okay. What?
And
it
making
was
a
nothing.
profit.
Okay. What? Still making money. Still making, you know they making money. Hey, if you got to do a disclaimer, that's how you know you're still making money. They like, I don't want to stop the bankroll. Let me go ahead. No, I don't want to mess this up. Let me just make sure we covering all our bases.
Y'all
Smart.
straight? Y'all straight? Y'all good?
Y'all good?
All right, keep running that money.
All right, bet. Press play. Like, like, dang, all right.
Oh my God.
But you know, like for real, and even like, you know, the movie Friday, like there's so many, and I only think of it because Chris Tucker, but like you think of so many examples where like, I don't mind because I know they're from a different time, but think about the people who are going to be watching these movies in 100 years.
Right.
But y'all didn't do it for Gone with the Wind, to your point. Like, do you know how many old movies we have to watch from back in the day? Good Times is so racist. I know that's so random, but you really got me going down this rabbit hole. Like, for real, like put a disclaimer on there. We know all black people aren't broke. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying though? But for real, like y'all made it seem like everybody's a plumber. Everybody's just trying to make it out the basement. Like, no, that's not, which shout out to the Jeffersons. But
Yeah.
anyway, sorry.
But that's the thing, though, because people still think what? Black people are broke.
Girl.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, these disclaimers might be needed because
Beyonce ain't broke. Oprah ain't broke.
She got my money.
What?
Oprah don't got
Okay.
we don't mess with Oprah no more.
No, she was at the Bezos
You gotta
wedding.
kick her out. Her and Gail.
I don't want to talk about Gail.
Gail going through it.
Girl, in space, too.
Somebody help her.
You know what?
Oprah set her up.
Listen.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We'll talk about them eventually.
Good
but,
Lord.
but, I mean, even Oprah, no, sorry, relevant. Think about the things that Oprah used to talk about on her daytime talk show.
Yeah.
Barbara Walters, like the questions that these women used to ask. There's an episode of the Oprah Winfrey Show where she asked Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen while they were in the midst of their eating disorder rumors, so how much do you girls weigh? And they were 16. 16. Yes.
Oprah.
Yes. Look it up. Google
I'm
it.
the shock. That's pretty bad.
Yes. But like it was so normalized. Rhea, I promise you, if you walk into any Pick and Save, when that interview came out, it was Mary-Kate Olsen refuses to name weight. Is she still struggling? Question mark. Not Oprah Winfrey. Ask an appropriate question of minor. Like it was so not about that. It was about blaming the victim, blaming the subject. And it was normal.
And I think that's why we need these things now. Not that we're sensitive, but I really think it's just to open the door of like, this is why this is not okay.
Totally.
Like, not that we're saying, oh, we're too sensitive, this is bad. Like, you know, like that's how you hurt people. Like they're on national television at 16, some grown woman's asking these questions to them. That's not helpful for anyone that's actually struggling at home with it.
And not only that, sometimes you glamorize it.
Problems, yeah.
By doing that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like eating disorders were very glamorized in the early 2000s, which I'm sure you remember that.
It's coming back.
It is coming back. It's scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, it's totally relevant. You bringing up Oprah and Gail because it's not just, you know, movies. It's also the TV shows. It's all the media that we used to consume, still consume. And they're getting better. I actually do appreciate the way that they're trying to change the rhetoric and the way that people view these things. You make a valid point. It's not that we're sensitive. It's just, it's education. It's people understanding this is the way the world was when this movie was made. I mentioned to Rhea off air, the movie Shallow Hal. Used to love that movie. It's from like 2003. Randomly, I had it on DVD, and it was one of those movies I watched every night before bed. I don't know why. But it's so problematic. I remember when it went viral during COVID, and I was like, dang, this is a fat shaming, fat phobia on like, times a million. And I had no idea when I was a kid. I had no idea. I genuinely thought it was like, no, he loves her from the inside out. It doesn't matter what she looks like. But it's like, no, it does matter what she looks like. That's the point of the movie, that they had to, hypnotize him to think she was thin in order to be attracted to her.
Right.
That's a horrible message.
It's a terrible plot.
Horrible. And poor Gwyneth Paltrow, she got paid, and this girl is getting the brunt of it. It's like, she didn't write the movie.
No.
I mean, she collected the checks, she did the acting, but like, she was just doing what she was paid to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we should be blaming the writers. Shoot, blame Hal. Hal is the one that was shallow. Like, it wasn't Gwyneth. You know what I mean, though? Like, blame Jack Black. I didn't hear his name.
This.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blame the studio. It's probably 20th Century Fox. I don't know, but like, for real.
Weinstein or something crazy.
It probably was. It probably was. That's such a good point.
Jesus.
I
But
can't.
like, it's on all edges too, because you have Shallow Hell, you have Something About Mary, you have Soul Plane, you have
Girl.
Rush Hour. There are
Yes.
multiple movies affecting multiple people. Why not have these just something to reference? We're better than this as a society.
My last question for you, moving forward, do you think we'll be able to say offensive things? Because like, I like to watch The Office still, and girl, half the stuff Michael Scott be saying,
Crazy.
in my opinion, he would not be able to get away with saying today. Like, do you watch Abbott Elementary? I forget if you do.
Yeah, I do.
I do
love it.
too. I feel like Principal Ava is the Michael Scott of that show.
Absolutely.
I think she could, even though she's pretty problematic, she's like PC problematic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not that bad. Do you think we'll ever go back to that, or no?
We shouldn't.
We shouldn't.
We shouldn't.
But I think some stuff Michael Scott said was funny, but you're right. There are things where I cringe, but it's like, are there people really like that? And therefore, it's just the media depicting real life. And I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just
Right, I
asking.
follow. I think that there should be a difference. Like, I think I can still watch Rush Hour and laugh,
Okay.
but also know, like, some things are not funny. Or I can get also, like, if we're laughing together, it's okay. Again, throwing it back again to, like, my friends saying the C word. I'm around them in mixed company. We're all
Right.
together. If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. Like, there's some boundaries there, but if it comes to, like, media,
Yeah.
I think if we can acknowledge that this is wrong, but still find the humor in it, because it's bad on both sides,
Right.
then I think as long as we know what's right and what's wrong, we can still enjoy the media.
Okay.
But know, like, this is not okay.
Moving forward.
Like, we don't need a Rush Hour 4 doing what they did in Rush Hour 1.
Nah. And they wouldn't.
No.
Because you can't do or say half the stuff that they were able to back then.
No.
And we just know so much more. I think that for me, Rhea, a lot of the mean things that people say comes from like a slave mentality. I really do feel that way. And I learned that from the show Black AF on Netflix. But like, everything stems from slavery in a sense. And I think that we've now woken up to the idea that like, we're not slave to, you feeling like you're better than. In the slave mentality, I want to be clear, it's not just the black-white dichotomy, it's in like the slave mentality, like feeling lesser than, feeling like there's like a hierarchy, which there is in theory, but at the base of it all, we're all humans, right? It's just like, you just happen to put somebody on a higher pedestal for whatever reason. And I think that, yeah, that is the way the world used to be, but we're not like that anymore. We're trying not to be. We're trying to move away from that, try to move deeper, closer to equality and everything. And I think, to your point, it's okay to still laugh at those things, knowing that, but at the same time, understanding that wasn't okay. But even that said, I feel bad laughing now.
I mean, I might giggle.
I'm not gonna lie, I might too.
I'm gonna chuckle a little
Because
bit.
it takes me back to my childhood.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I grew up.
Like, give me a funny memory.
You know what I mean?
Not everything can be offensive.
Not everything.
But, like, it might be a little, like, ooh, bad taste, but I did laugh.
100%. Just
And that's,
laugh
like,
in private.
for Black people, too, so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let us know your thoughts, y'all. We talked about Love Island, Cierra Ortega, her racial slur blunder, getting her kicked off 1 week before the finale. So she's not going to win that $100,000 prize. That's a lot of money. And she lost 200,000 followers allegedly on social media. So pray for her. She'll be all right. But then also let us know your thoughts on just these problematic movies and TV shows and interviews, etc., that now are having to add in disclaimers reminding people, hey, this is from a different time. Y'all can laugh if you want, but just know you're wrong. No, but just letting people know we don't think this way anymore. The way that, you know, the world was viewed, the way that we spoke, it was so different. And I actually do appreciate them saying that. I know Disney started doing that with some movies. Rush Hour is the most recent one that I saw that's been doing it. But let us know what kind of movies or shows that you think also need to include that disclaimer. And are we too sensitive? Is this a sensitivity thing? Is it because of Gen Z? It is kind of ironic that this is happening when Gen Z is starting to take over. But is it really their fault when, hello, Gen X made the movies? Let us know all of your thoughts. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back every Wednesday live. Shout out to my girl Rhea, and shout out to all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nothing But the Truth with Melanie Ricks. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye, y'all.